Hello, in this video, I'm actually just recommending a video, but just with a little bit of context. So, largest surviving medical treatise from ancient Mesopotamia, as well as going well back to Sumerian medical tablet, as seen here. Now, uh, what I'm going to be doing, I'll link this article, but the main point will be that it's a fantastic lecture. Erica Reiner, Hallowed Herbs, and very important lady in this ancient history field. She was one of the main contributors to writing the Assyrian dictionary, a lot of the Akkadian, Assyro-Babylonian languages. She did so much work on there, translating them, providing dictionaries for us to be able to understand these things. She passed away in 2005. And in this particular lecture, she goes into, Babylonian pharmacy. So the collection of herbs, the administration of medicines, how to apply them. For instance, whether it would be as a tincture in beer or as a salve, but also the astronomy or astrology connected to it, because certain herbs would have to be picked at a certain time in a certain way, sometimes involving a ritual or some sort of sacrifice, not a literal animal sacrifice, but the lecture explains these things. Now, it also goes on how this tradition was passed on into Greek times, in surviving Egyptian texts, and then the similarities to 15th, 16th century Europe and the alchemical period and the medicine of the apothecaries and alchemists of that time, the strong similarities between them, including explaining some of the colourful language, let's call it. So, for instance, I can't remember now offhand, but for instance, the sperm of Hermes was dill, I do believe. She will explain it in there. The blood of the crocodile was actually a herb, and she goes in detail there. Unfortunately, you see a lot of it in the internets has turned it into all sorts of really way off, turned it into something of an industry and connected it to things that are not there. People such as Erica Reiner did a lot of work to provide us now with the text to understand and study these things, which I also link to Irving Finkel, because he's, at least in the YouTube era, the most famous person in regards to cuneiform. So he did this lecture is about the Great Flood, as spoken about in the older texts, Sumerian and Babylon. So later in, for instance, Tablet 11 describes the flood, but it describes the Ark of Utnapishtim as a cube, but he also goes on to show how an older text was found and it described it as a round boat. So the older description of a flood has a round boat. So the Ark of Utnapishtim, or the preserver of life, he was one of the ancestors of Gilgamesh. But going back to that period, so these old tablets, including some of the oldest surviving maps, oldest surviving prescriptions, as well as they had some really advanced maths. So, for instance, this has the square root of 2 to about 6 or 7 decimal places. Also, some of the astronomy connected and the star charts in there, which relates to the medicinal herbs, and that when a certain planet or the moon, full moon, no moon, you would pick certain herbs at certain times in a certain way, and also apply the medicines at a certain time in a certain way. And that also leads into, because I have to say this, both Erica Reiner and people such as Irving Finkel, some larger so-called researchers into ancient history, throw a lot of caca their way and say that they're involved in some sort of cover-up. There are all these tablets which are yet to be translated. That is true. But Irving Finkel is pleading with students to learn the languages and to assist in the job of translating these yet to be translated tablets. So those who like to throw a lot of shade on people in regards to this and make claims of cover-ups and suppression of information, if you're truly interested, they're asking for you to join in the job and do the job. So rather than throw accusations at people, and I've seen this, it's a growing meme. It starts with some joker, who doesn't know what he's talking about, and then it gets repeated and repeated. These people are doing fantastic work. They work very hard. You don't get rich doing this. And so Erika Reiner passed away 2005. Irving Finkel is the most famous one of these, and she and him to this day are asking for people to help in this monumental task of reading, translating all of these yet to be translated tablets from around the world. So all the links will be in the description. If you see these this rubbish about the suppression of a lot of these tablets, well, tell them, pass on the word. They're asking you to join in and do the job. If it's that if you're that invested and passionate about it that you can throw claims at people, well, get off your ass, do the work. They want you to help in the job. And if you just throw shade at people, you're worse than the accusations that you make. So, yep, either do the work or stop throwing shade. Anyway, with that, links in the description, especially this lecture, fantastic stuff. Really, they know what they're talking about. They use the sources. They read. For instance, she wrote this Assyrian dictionary. A lot of available information that we have is through their hard work and through these, I have to say, McKenna-esque schools. They've used the colourful language, such as the blood of the crocodile and these other features, and turned it into something else. She talks about these and how the translations have been mixed up, and that they're actually describing, common known herbs of the time as well. Fantastic stuff. If you're serious, you can look into it. If you're very, very serious, they're asking you to join in. Get off your ass, do the work, rather than throw shade at people. Have a good one.